So the most foundational piece that you need in place is an irresistible offer. And, if you don't have an amazing offer, you could pour money into running a bunch of ads and people aren't going to buy it. It's really very simple. You've got video, blog, and then maybe like podcast, right? And each of those requires considerations based on your business, your bandwidth, your budget.
Every guest that I speak to that's a marketing expert or has a lot of history in marketing tends to stand one side or the other of organic and paid. Why don't you just put that £300, put it in a plastic bag, go out to your garden, dig a hole in the garden and just drop that plastic bag in and put the soil back on top. And then in 6 months' time, you can get that £300 out and you'll have £300.
Creating content is important. And that long form content really is how you build trust. So, a lot of people expend a considerable amount of bandwidth of their resources, time, energy, money in, let's say, like posting constantly on social media, and they don't quite know what they're doing.
Nobody knows your chessboard like you. And I think that's an important lesson for a lot of business owners is there's a lot of bad advice out there. We always ask our guests, what's one thing that you think business owners should stop doing?
Don't be a generalist. You need to be some kind of a specialist. And then you can be a specialist of multiple things. As your website is your business card. I mean, it's so much more than that. It's part of the core of everything else.
Unless you're working with an expert who knows what they're doing, how do you know which data correlates to show you whether it's working or it isn't?
You can't DIY your marketing for a very functional reason, which is simply you aren't an expert. You don't have the bandwidth to become one, and you need to outsource things. If you're growth oriented, you should be tracking KPIs, key performance indicators.
A person who's neurodiverse is something like 600 times more likely to be a business owner because we get frustrated with other people's ways of doing things. We're natural rebels.